The warm October evening wrapped around Elaine Harper like a blanket as she stood at the edge of her land in Montana. The sky above her farm was not right. Strange lights danced where stars should be. As the top alien expert for the North American Space Defense Force, Elaine had always wondered about meeting aliens. She never thought it would happen at her own home. The black ship appeared without warning. It hung in the air big as a small town blocking the sunset. Elaine did not run. Years of military training kept her feet planted firmly on the ground. Her hand moved slowly to the communication device on her belt, but she stopped. Better to wait and see what they wanted. A beam of green light shot down from the ship, touching the ground 30 feet away. When the light faded, 3 tall figures stood there. They looked like giant insects walking on 2 legs. Their bodies were covered in hard, shiny green shells that caught the dying sunlight. Their eyes were large black orbs that seemed to take in everything at once. "We are the Valkorian Dominion," said the tallest one. Its voice came through a small box hanging around its neck. "I am Ambassador Thrixie. We have come to study your world." Elaine straightened her back and took a step forward. "I am Lieutenant Commander Elaine Harper of the North American Space Defense Force. Welcome to Earth." Her voice was steady despite her racing heart. The alien's head tilted to one side. "You are not afraid? Interesting. Most species show fear at first contact." "We've been expecting someone to visit eventually," Elaine said. "Though I admit we didn't expect you in my backyard." Thrixie's mouth parts clicked together in what might have been amusement. "Your world was not randomly chosen. We have been watching for some time. Your species is unusual. Soft bodies, no natural weapons, yet you dominate your planet. We wish to understand this anomaly." Behind Elaine, the door to her cabin creaked open slightly. A pair of amber eyes watched from the shadows, alert and wary. "Perhaps you would like to come inside?" Elaine offered, gesturing to her home. "We can talk more comfortably." "No," Thrixie said firmly. "We have no interest in your dwellings. We wish to see your apex predators." Elaine frowned. "Our what?" "The dominant hunters of your world. The creatures at the top of your food chain." Something in the alien's tone made Elaine uneasy. "Why the interest in our predators?" Thrixie stepped closer. She was nearly 7 feet tall, towering over Elaine. "The Valkorian Dominion has visited 17 worlds before yours. On each we study the dominant life forms. We collect the apex hunters for the convergence." "And what is the convergence?" Elaine asked, though she was beginning to suspect the answer. "A tournament," Thrixie said simply. "A gathering where the greatest hunters from all worlds compete. It determines the natural order of species. Those who prove strong gain our protection. Those who prove weak." The alien let the sentence hang unfinished. Elaine's military training told her this was no longer a friendly visit. This was an assessment. "And if we refuse to participate?" The 3 aliens made a sound like rocks grinding together. Laughter, Elaine realized with a chill. "Refusal is seen as weakness," Thrixie explained. "Worlds that refuse are always integrated into the Dominion. For their own protection, of course." "Conquered," Elaine translated in her head. She needed to stall for time. "I'm not authorized to agree to this. I need to contact my superiors." "You misunderstand," Thrixie said. "This is not a request. The convergence approaches. Your world will submit its apex predator for evaluation." The alien tapped a device on its wrist, and a screen of light appeared in the air between them. Images of Earth's largest predators flashed by. Lions, tigers, bears, sharks, crocodiles. "Your ursine species seem most promising," Thrixie noted, as the image of a grizzly bear filled the screen. "Large, strong with natural weapons," Elaine thought quickly. These aliens were judging Earth's worth by its predators. If they found Earth's animals lacking, it might mean invasion. "You will come with us now," Thrixie announced. "As your world's expert on alien life, you will serve as Earth's representative at the convergence. You have 1 of your hours to prepare." The aliens turned and walked back into the beam of light. As they vanished back to their ship, Elaine rushed to her cabin. She needed to pack, to prepare, to warn Earth's leaders. But first, she had to check on her secret weapon. Inside the cabin, a large wolf-like animal lay on a rug by the fireplace. But this was no ordinary wolf. Artemis was the result of 15 years of genetic research. A timber wolf enhanced with advanced DNA modifications and neural implants. She was smarter, stronger and faster than any natural wolf, and she was bonded to Elaine through a neural link few people knew existed. Artemis raised her head as Elaine entered, amber eyes glowing with intelligence. The wolf sensed her partner's concern. "We're going on a trip, girl," Elaine said, kneeling to scratch behind Artemis's ears. "These aliens think bears are Earth's apex predators. They don't understand what makes humans different." She touched the special collar around Artemis's neck, checking that the neural interface was working. The familiar warm presence of the wolf's mind brushed against her own. Through their link, Elaine felt curiosity and readiness from her companion. Elaine walked to a hidden panel in the wall and pressed her palm against it. The panel slid open to reveal a military communication system. She needed to alert her superiors about what was happening. Earth needed to prepare for the Valkorians, whether the aliens came as friends or enemies. As she sent her urgent message, Elaine looked back at Artemis. The aliens wanted Earth's apex predator. They would be expecting a bear or some other large animal. They had no idea that humanity's true strength wasn't in its muscles or claws, but in its partnerships. They think they know what makes a top predator. Elaine whispered to Artemis, who tilted her head attentively. "But they're about to learn that on Earth we don't hunt alone." The huge ship sent down another beam of light exactly 1 hour later. As Elaine stepped into it with a small bag of belongings, Artemis padded silently at her side. Thrixie had not specified that Elaine should come alone, and she had no intention of being separated from her greatest ally. As the light pulled them upward toward the waiting ship, Elaine felt the weight of Earth's future on her shoulders. But she wasn't afraid. The aliens had come looking for Earth's most dangerous predator, and they were about to meet her. The alien ship was like nothing Elaine had ever seen. Inside, the walls looked alive, shifting with greens and blues that reminded her of beetle shells. The air smelled strange, like mint and metal mixed together. Artemis stayed close to her side, the wolf's ears flicking back and forth as she took in all the new sounds. "Your dwelling creature must remain in your quarters," Thrixie said, pointing one long, jointed finger at Artemis. "She's not a pet," Elaine explained. "She's my companion. Where I go, she goes." The alien's large black eyes blinked slowly. "Unusual. Most species keep their animals as food or tools." Thrixie seemed to consider for a moment. "Very well. The animal may accompany you, but you are responsible for its behavior." They walked through long hallways that curved and twisted in ways that made Elaine feel slightly dizzy. Other aliens moved around them, some looking like Thrixie, others completely different, some with too many limbs, others with none at all. "You will meet the other representatives soon," Thrixie explained as they walked. 32 worlds have qualified for the convergence this cycle. "What exactly happens at this convergence?" Elaine asked. "Each world presents its apex predator. They are evaluated, then matched against one another in controlled environments. The outcomes determine which worlds are worthy of Valkorian protection and which require guidance." The threat behind the words was clear. This wasn't just a tournament. It was a test that would decide if Earth would remain free. Thrixie led them to a large round room with a bed that looked more like a nest, and strange fixtures that Elaine guessed were alien furniture. "Rest. Tomorrow you will meet the other representatives." When the alien left, Elaine sat on the edge of the strange bed and let out a long breath. Artemis came and put her head on Elaine's knee. "We're in trouble, girl," she whispered, stroking the wolf's thick fur. "These aliens are judging Earth based on who has the biggest teeth and claws." Through their neural link, Elaine felt Artemis's calm confidence. The wolf wasn't afraid. She trusted Elaine to find a way through this challenge. Elaine pulled out a small device from her bag, a secure communicator that could hopefully reach Earth. A face appeared on the screen. Captain Maya Sullivan, Elaine's friend and Earth's military liaison for first contact situations. "Elaine," "Thank God," Maya said. "Your message came through. The whole planet is on high alert. What's happening up there?" Elaine explained quickly about the Valkorians and the convergence. "They're expecting us to present a bear or something as Earth's champion. If our apex predator doesn't impress them, I think they're planning to invade." Maya's face grew serious. "The Security Council is meeting now. Some want to launch everything we have at the alien ship." "No," Elaine said quickly. "Their technology is way beyond ours. A fight would be suicide, so what do we do? Let them judge us by our wildlife?" Elaine looked at Artemis, who was watching her with intelligent eyes. "I have an idea, but I need you to come up here. Bring Dr. Olivia Rivers from the Diplomatic Corps. Tell the aliens you're my support team." "What are you planning?" Maya asked. "Something the aliens won't expect," Elaine said with a small smile. Just hurry. The next morning, Thrixie returned to escort Elaine to what she called the assessment arena. Artemis followed closely behind them. Your other representatives have arrived, Thrixie informed her. They are waiting. The arena was enormous, a clear dome at least a mile across. Inside, different environments had been created. A section of forest, a desert area, an ocean tank, even a frozen tundra region. Around the dome, viewing platforms held aliens of all descriptions watching with various appendages and sensory organs. Maya and Dr. Rivers were waiting on a platform marked with Earth's flag. Maya wore her formal military uniform, while Dr. Rivers, a tall woman with dark hair streaked with gray, wore a simple blue suit. This is impressive, Dr. Rivers said quietly as Elaine joined them, though I'm not sure I like being judged by a glorified zoo exhibition. On a large central platform, various aliens were presenting their predators. A reptilian creature showed off something that looked like a dinosaur with too many teeth. A floating gelatinous alien presented a transparent hunter that seemed to be made of living crystal. Representatives of Earth, a booming voice announced. Prepare to present your apex predator. What's the plan? Maya whispered. Please tell me you brought something better than a grizzly bear. Elaine smiled and nodded toward Artemis. I brought her. Maya's eyes widened. A wolf against these monsters? Not just any wolf, Dr. Rivers said, understanding dawning on her face. This is one of the Neural Link program animals, isn't it? Elaine nodded. The most successful one. Artemis and I have been partners for 10 years. Before Maya could ask more questions, Thrixie approached their platform. It is Earth's turn to present. Where is your predator, the ursine you mentioned? There's been a misunderstanding, Elaine said calmly. Bears aren't our apex predator. They're just the largest. Thrixie's head tilted. Explain. On Earth, the apex predator isn't about size or strength alone, Elaine said. It's about intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation. The alien's mouth parts clicked rapidly. You speak in riddles. Present your predator now. Humans are Earth's apex predator, Elaine stated firmly. We don't win through brute force. We form partnerships. Around them, aliens murmured and clicked and burbled in what seemed like disbelief or amusement. Disappointing, Thrixie said. We expected more from your world. At a gesture from Thrixie, a section of the arena wall slid open. A creature emerged that made Maya gasp and Dr. Rivers take a step back. It stood 12 feet tall on 6 legs with a body covered in armored plates. Its front limbs ended in what looked like serrated blades, and a cluster of eyes set in a flat head followed every movement in the arena. The Vraxian Deathstalker, Thrixie announced proudly. Our current champion. Undefeated in 17 challenges. The monster moved with shocking speed for its size, slicing through a combat drone that flew too close. Your species will be easily integrated, Thrixie said, something like satisfaction in her voice. Elaine smiled. You've misunderstood again. She put 2 fingers to her lips and whistled sharply. I said partnerships. All eyes turned to Artemis, who had been sitting quietly beside Elaine. The wolf stood, stretching leisurely, seeming completely unbothered by the death machine on display below. What is this? Thrixie demanded. Some primitive canid? This is your champion. Elaine reached down and touched Artemis's special collar, activating the full neural link between them. Instantly, she felt the connection deepen, her mind merging with the wolf's in a familiar, comforting way. Artemis's senses became hers. The sharp smells, the acute hearing, the heightened awareness of movement. She's not just a wolf, Elaine explained as her eyes took on the same amber glow as Artemis's. She's my partner. We hunt together. Thrixie stared at them, her alien face unreadable. This is your apex predator? This small canid and a soft human? This is humanity's greatest strength, Dr. Rivers stepped in to explain. Not our individual abilities, but our capacity to form deep bonds with other species. To work together. We accept your challenge, Elaine said confidently, her voice overlapping slightly with a low growl from Artemis. My partner against your Deathstalker. The aliens in the viewing chambers buzzed with excitement or disbelief. It was hard to tell which. Thrixie seemed to be consulting with other Valkorians, their conversation a rapid series of clicks and whistles. Finally, she turned back to Elaine. Very well. The match will begin in 1 of your hours. If your partnership fails, Earth will be classified as ready for integration. As Thrixie walked away, Maya grabbed Elaine's arm. Are you insane? That thing will tear Artemis apart. But Elaine just smiled, her eyes still glowing with the same amber light as her wolf's. Through their bond, she felt Artemis's eagerness for the hunt, her complete lack of fear. They don't understand, Elaine said quietly. They think predators are about teeth and claws. They have no concept of what happens when two minds work as one. Dr. Rivers studied them with professional interest. The neural link program was theoretical when I left Earth. I had no idea it had progressed this far. Most people don't, Elaine admitted. Artemis is special. Enhanced strength, speed, and intelligence. But the real advantage is our connection. She tapped her temple. When we fight, I see through her eyes, feel through her senses. And she gets my strategic thinking, my planning. So you're basically a super wolf with human intelligence, Maya said, looking at Artemis with new respect. And a human with wolf instincts, Elaine added. We're more together than either of us alone. As they prepared for the match, Elaine knew they were Earth's only hope. The aliens had come looking for the perfect predator. Instead, they were about to meet the perfect team. News of the Deathstalkers' defeat spread quickly through the Valkorian fleet. Earth's small team was moved to better quarters, with real beds instead of the strange nests they had been given before. Artemis was provided with fresh meat, and Elaine was treated with a new respect by the alien crew. They didn't expect us to win, Maya said as they sat in their new room. You can tell by how surprised they all are. Dr. Rivers nodded, looking up from her tablet where she was making notes. The Valkorians seem to value physical strength above all else. The idea of a partnership as a survival strategy is foreign to them. Elaine sat on the floor beside Artemis, gently checking the wolf for any injuries she might have missed. Through their neural link, she could feel that Artemis was tired but satisfied, like an athlete after a good workout. That's going to be our advantage, Elaine said. They don't understand what we can do together. A soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal Thrixie, standing stiffly in the doorway. The Council of Dominion wishes to speak with you, the alien announced. Elaine stood. All of us? Just you and your partner. Thrixie's eyes moved to Artemis, who was watching the alien calmly. The others will remain here. Elaine and Artemis followed Thrixie through the twisting corridors of the ship. They passed many other aliens who stopped to stare at the strange pair, the human woman and her wolf companion walking side by side as equals. Finally, they reached a large circular chamber. In the center was a raised platform surrounded by 7 tall chairs. In each chair sat a Valkorian, larger than Thrixie and wearing elaborate armor that shimmered with colors that hurt Elaine's eyes to look at directly. The Council of Dominion, Thrixie announced, stepping aside. The largest Valkorian leaned forward. I am High Commander Zexar. Your victory over our champion was unprecedented. Elaine bowed slightly. Thank you, High Commander. It was not a compliment, Zexar clicked. It was unexpected, disturbing. It suggests we have misunderstood your species. Perhaps you have, Elaine agreed. The council members chittered among themselves for a moment before Zexar spoke again. Explain your connection to this animal. Our sensors detect unusual neural patterns between you. Elaine considered how much to reveal. Through their link, Artemis advised caution. The wolf didn't trust these aliens, and neither did Elaine. On Earth, humans have worked with animals for thousands of years, Elaine explained. Dogs, Artemis's ancestors, were our first and closest allies. We evolved together, learned to understand each other. What you see between us is the result of that long partnership, enhanced by our technology. It wasn't the whole truth, but it wasn't a lie either. The neural link program was classified, and Elaine had no intention of sharing its secrets with potential invaders. Fascinating, said another council member, and disturbing. Your species lacks natural weapons, yet you have dominated your planet by enslaving other predators. Not enslaving, Elaine corrected firmly. Partnering. Artemis is not my slave. She's my friend, my companion. We work together because we choose to. The council members seemed confused by this concept. They talked among themselves in their clicking language for several minutes. Elaine waited patiently, her hand resting lightly on Artemis's head. Finally, Zexar turned back to them. The convergence continues. Your victory over the Deathstalker has qualified Earth for the main tournament. You will face champions from 23 other worlds over the next 3 cycles. 3 cycles? Elaine asked. What you would call weeks, Thrixie clarified from behind her. And if we win? Elaine asked. Then Earth will be classified as a protected world. No species in the Dominion will be permitted to interfere with your development. And if we lose? Zexer's mouth parts clicked slowly. Then Earth will be integrated into the Dominion. For your own protection, of course. Conquered, Elaine translated mentally, just as she had suspected. We accept the challenge, she said confidently. Through their link, Artemis projected agreement and readiness. There's one more thing, Zexar added. Your method of combat is unusual. We would like to understand it better. Would you permit our scientists to examine you and your animal? Elaine felt Artemis tense beside her. What kind of examination? Non-invasive scans only, Zexar assured her. We wish to understand the nature of your partnership. Elaine considered for a moment. We agree to basic scans. Nothing that would separate us or cause discomfort? Acceptable, Zexar nodded. You will be escorted to the science division after rest period. As they were led back to their quarters, Elaine's mind was racing. They're worried, she thought to Artemis. We've shown them something they don't understand, and it scares them. Artemis's thoughts came back as impressions rather than words. Agreement, caution, determination. The wolf understood the stakes as well as Elaine did. Back in their room, Maya and Dr. Rivers were eager to hear what had happened. Elaine explained about the tournament and the requested examinations. They're trying to figure out your advantage, Dr. Rivers observed. Be careful what you let them see. I know, Elaine agreed. They'll get basic readings, nothing more. Maya looked worried. Can you and Artemis really win against 23 other alien monsters? Elaine smiled. We don't have to beat them all. Some will eliminate each other in earlier rounds. And yes, I think we can win. The Deathstalker was supposed to be unbeatable, remember? I've been making some calls to Earth, Maya said, holding up her secure communicator. The Security Council wants updates on everything. And they're sending reinforcements. What kind of reinforcements? Elaine asked. We can't fight the Valkorians directly. Their technology is too advanced, Maya smiled. Not soldiers. More like you and Artemis. Elaine's eyes widened. They're sending more neural link pairs? Maya nodded. 4 more teams are on their way. The Valkorians approved their shuttle an hour ago. Elaine felt a surge of hope. The neural link program had been small and secret, with only a few successful partnerships. If 4 more were coming, Earth was taking this very seriously. Who are they sending? She asked. Lieutenant Samantha Foster and her Falcon Talon. Navy SEAL Kate Rodriguez with her Dolphin partner Neptune. Wildlife Officer Danielle Wright and her Mountain Lion Sierra. And Peter Ivanov with his bear Ursa. Elaine knew them all. Each pair had their own strengths and specialties. Good choices. The Valkorians think bears are our apex predator anyway. They'll be confused when they see the others. That's the idea, Maya grinned. Dr. Rivers suggested we show them the full range of human-animal partnerships. It might make them reconsider what makes a species dangerous. The next morning, Elaine and Artemis were taken to the science division. The Valkorian scientists were smaller than the warriors, with extra limbs that ended in delicate tools instead of weapons. They directed Elaine to stand on a platform while scanners hummed around her. Artemis was placed on a similar platform nearby. Please demonstrate your neural connection, one scientist requested. Elaine nodded and activated the full link with Artemis. As always, their minds merged, senses overlapping. Elaine could smell things no human nose could detect, while Artemis gained access to Elaine's strategic thinking and language skills. The scientists chittered excitedly as their instruments registered the change. Fascinating. The patterns are synchronizing. For the next hour, they ran various tests, having Elaine and Artemis perform tasks together, testing their reaction times, measuring how information flowed between them. Elaine was careful to show enough to satisfy their curiosity, but not enough to reveal the true extent of their abilities. Sufficient, the lead scientist finally declared. You may return to your quarters. As they were leaving, Elaine noticed a large viewing chamber where various alien creatures were being kept in habitat enclosures. She paused, looking at the collection of strange life forms. Our competition? She asked the Valkorian guard escorting them. The alien nodded. Champions from qualifying worlds. You will face them soon. Elaine studied the creatures carefully. Some were massive, with teeth and claws that made the Deathstalker look almost friendly. Others were small but clearly deadly. One was simply a floating cloud of what looked like glittering dust. But the guard warned her not to get too close to its enclosure. That is the mist hunter from Nephraxis, he explained. It enters through your breathing passages and dissolves you from within. Elaine felt Artemis's concern through their link. These opponents would be very different from the Deathstalker. They would need new strategies for each one. Back in their quarters, they found excitement. The Earth reinforcements had arrived. Samantha Foster was a tall, lean woman with short blonde hair and quick movements that reminded Elaine of her partner, Talon. The peregrine falcon sat on a perch nearby, sharp eyes missing nothing. Kate Rodriguez was compact and muscular, with the confident bearing of a Navy SEAL. Her partner Neptune couldn't be present on the ship, of course, but Kate explained that the Dolphin was being kept in a special tank in the shuttle bay. The Valkorians were very confused about why my partner needs to live in water, she said with a grin. Danielle Wright was older than the others, with gray streaking her dark hair. Her partner Sierra, a magnificent mountain lion, lay stretched out on the floor nearby, watching everyone with lazy interest. The Convergence Arena was moved to a massive structure orbiting Jupiter's moon Europa. The Valkorians transported all the competitors and observers to this new location in preparation for the tournament. As Elaine looked out the viewport of their transport ship, she saw dozens of alien vessels converging on the massive space station. It's like the Olympics, but with deadly alien monsters, Maya commented, standing beside her. And the prize is Earth's freedom, Elaine added quietly. The space station was even more impressive from the inside. Enormous biodomes contained different environments for the various matches: deserts, jungles, Arctic landscapes, and even underwater arenas. The living quarters were luxurious compared to their previous accommodations on the Valkorian ship. They're taking this very seriously, Dr. Rivers observed as they were shown to their new rooms. This tournament must be important to their culture. Thrixie confirmed this when she came to brief them that evening. The convergence is our oldest tradition, she explained. For 10,000 years it has determined the status of worlds within the Dominion. Champions who prove themselves here earn respect that extends to their entire species. And those who lose? Elaine asked. Thrixie's mouth parts clicked softly. They serve the winners. It is the natural order. The tournament began the next day. The Earth teams were separated, each assigned to different preliminary matches. Elaine and Artemis were scheduled to face a crystalline hunter from the Silicon world, Lithios 9. Samantha and Talon would battle a phase-shifting predator from Tau Ceti. Kate and Neptune were matched against an aquatic nightmare from a water world called Hydros Prime. Danielle and Sierra would face a pack of small but venomous creatures from Nexus the 3. Peter and Ursa had drawn the massive Crusher from a high-gravity planet. We need to win all our matches, Elaine told the team during their final meeting. But more importantly, we need to win them the right way. Show the Valkorians what makes Earth special, our bonds with our partners. One by one, the Earth teams entered their respective arenas. Elaine and Artemis were the first to compete. The crystalline hunter was beautiful and terrifying, a creature made of living crystal that reflected light in dazzling patterns. It moved with surprising grace for something that appeared so rigid, flowing across the rocky terrain of the arena like liquid glass. It's trying to hypnotize us with those light patterns, Elaine realized through their link. Artemis, less affected by the visual display, focused on the creature's movements instead of its appearance. The battle was difficult. The crystalline hunter could reshape its body, forming sharp edges and points that sliced through anything they touched. Conventional attack seemed useless against its hard exterior, but Elaine and Artemis had faced tough opponents before. Through their link, they developed a new strategy. Artemis led the creature to the small pool in the center of the arena, then dodged as it lunged at her. The hunter crashed into the water and immediately began to steam and crack. Water, Elaine realized. It reacts with water. Artemis quickly understood. She circled the pool, darting in to splash water on the creature whenever possible. Each drop caused small fractures in its crystal structure. Soon the beautiful hunter was covered in cracks, its movements becoming stiff and jerky. One final push sent it fully into the pool, where it shattered into thousands of glittering pieces. Victory. Across the station, the other Earth teams were facing their own challenges. Samantha and Talon used the Falcon's incredible speed and the neural link's perfect timing to track the phase-shifting predator even when it seemed to disappear. Kate and Neptune dominated their aquatic opponent in its own environment. the dolphin's echolocation allowing them to find weaknesses no eye could see. Danielle and Sierra turned the tables on the venomous pack hunters, using the mountain lion's stealth to pick them off one by one. Peter and Ursa met strength with strength, the bear's power enhanced by Peter's strategic mind guiding each attack. By the end of the first day, all 5 Earth teams had advanced to the next round. The alien spectators were buzzing with excitement and confusion. No one had expected the soft-bodied humans and their animal partners to perform so well. Betting pools, which apparently existed even among aliens, were being hastily revised. "Your species continues to surprise," Thrixie told Elaine that evening. 5 different partnerships, 5 different strategies, 5 victories. "That's what makes humans dangerous," Elaine explained. "We adapt, we learn, we form bonds." The second day brought harder challenges. Elaine and Artemis faced the sentient toxic mist from Nephraxis, a cloud of conscious particles that could slip through the smallest opening and attack from within. They won by luring it into a confined space and using the arena's temperature controls to condense it into liquid form. Kate and Neptune were nearly defeated by a creature that generated electrical pulses, but they discovered it couldn't maintain its charge in deep water. Samantha lost communication with Talon when their opponent emitted a signal that disrupted their neural link, but they had trained for such emergencies and won using hand signals instead. Only Peter and Ursa suffered a setback, when the crusher proved too strong even for Ursa's enhanced strength. But they had done enough damage that the alien creature was too injured to continue in the tournament. The third day saw the quarterfinals. Only 8 competitors remained, including Elaine and Artemis, Kate and Neptune, and Samantha and Talon. Each match was more difficult than the last, but the Earth teams continued to advance. By the semifinals, only 4 champions remained: Elaine and Artemis, Samantha and Talon, a massive tentacled horror from a gas giant, and a sleek, reptilian predator that seemed to anticipate its opponent's every move. Elaine and Artemis faced the tentacled horror. The creature was unlike anything they had encountered before. A mass of writhing limbs with no discernible head or central body. It filled half the arena, its tentacles powerful enough to crush stone. For the first time, Elaine felt real fear through their link. Artemis was outmatched physically, and there seemed to be no vulnerable spot to attack. But they had one advantage the creature didn't: trust. Rather than trying to attack the monster directly, they worked together to turn the arena itself into a weapon. Using the environmental controls Elaine had studied carefully, they triggered a series of changes, raising platforms, activating sprinklers, changing light levels that confused and disoriented their opponent. When it was sufficiently tangled in its own limbs, they triggered the arena's gravity to increase briefly, pinning the creature under its own massive weight. Victory, but a close one. Samantha and Talon had an easier time with the reptilian predator. The Falcon's aerial advantage proved decisive, allowing attacks from above that the ground-bound creature couldn't defend against. The final match was set: Elaine and Artemis versus Samantha and Talon. "This isn't what we planned," Elaine said during a private meeting with the Earth team. "We wanted to show different partnerships, not compete against each other." "Maybe this is better," Dr. Rivers suggested. "The Valkorians will see that even when we compete, we maintain respect." 2 Earth teams in the final proves our point more clearly than anything else could. The final match took place in the largest arena, with representatives from all 32 worlds watching. High Commander Zexar himself presided, his elaborate armor catching the light as he announced the beginning of the match. But what followed wasn't the deadly battle everyone expected. Instead, Elaine and Samantha demonstrated something the aliens had never seen before: friendly competition. Artemis and Talon engaged in a complex game of strategy and skill, each showing their unique abilities without trying to seriously harm the other. The crowd was silent, confused by what they were witnessing. This wasn't a fight to the death or even to submission. It was something else entirely. Finally, by mutual agreement, Elaine and Artemis conceded the match. Samantha and Talon had demonstrated superior maneuverability, and in a fair contest, that advantage would have eventually won out. As the Earth teams left the arena together, the alien spectators erupted in confused chittering and buzzing. This wasn't how the convergence was supposed to end. The winners were supposed to dominate the losers, not embrace them as friends. The Council of Dominion called an emergency meeting. All 5 Earth teams were summoned, along with Maya and Dr. Rivers. They stood before the 7 Valkorian leaders, waiting for the verdict that would determine Earth's fate. High Commander Zexar spoke first. In 10,000 years of the convergence, we have never witnessed what we saw today. Your 5 teams showed different methods, different strengths, different strategies, yet all demonstrated the same principle: partnership between different species. And in the final match, another council member added, you showed something even more alien to us: competition without destruction. Elaine stepped forward. On Earth we have a saying: the pack is stronger than the lone wolf. Humans became the dominant species on our planet, not because we were the strongest or fastest, but because we learned to work together, with each other and with other species. The hour passed quickly as Elaine and Artemis prepared. Earth's small team was given a preparation chamber near the arena. Maya paced nervously while Dr. Rivers took notes on everything she saw. This is crazy, Maya said for the 5th time. That monster is 3 times Artemis's size. Elaine was kneeling beside Artemis, checking the wolf's special armor. The black material was light and flexible but could stop most claws and teeth. It covered Artemis's chest and sides, leaving her legs free for quick movement. Size isn't everything, Elaine said calmly. Through their neural link, she could feel Artemis's focused mind. The wolf wasn't worried at all. She trusted their bond completely. A soft chime sounded, and a section of wall slid open. Thrixie stood there, flanked by 2 other Valkorians. It is time, the alien announced. The match will take place in the forest environment. Both contestants will enter from opposite sides. Elaine nodded and stood. We're ready. Maya grabbed her arm. Be careful. We need you both alive. Elaine smiled at her friend. Trust us. This isn't our first hunt. The arena's forest section was impressive: real trees, earth, even a small stream running through it. As Elaine and Artemis entered through a small door, the sounds of the alien crowd faded behind a clear barrier that rose up behind them. Remember the plan? Elaine whispered to Artemis, though she didn't need to speak out loud. Through their link, the wolf already knew their strategy. Let it make the first move. Learn how it fights. Then we take it down together. Artemis gave a soft whine of agreement. Her amber eyes scanned the forest, ears swiveling to catch every sound. Through their bond, Elaine could sense what Artemis did: the smell of unfamiliar plants, the sound of the stream, and somewhere in the distance, the heavy footsteps of the Deathstalker entering from the other side. Elaine and Artemis moved silently through the trees, staying low and using the shadows for cover. Elaine's mind worked quickly, analyzing the environment for advantages. The trees would slow the larger creature. The stream might be useful, but first they needed to see their enemy in action. They didn't have to wait long. With a crash of breaking trees, the Deathstalker burst into a small clearing ahead of them. It was even more terrifying up close. Its armored body gleamed under the artificial sunlight, and its blade-like limbs cut through a small tree as if it were paper. It's showing off, Elaine thought to Artemis. It's used to scaring its opponents. Through their link, she felt Artemis's agreement. The wolf wasn't impressed by the display. The Deathstalker's cluster of eyes swept the forest. It couldn't see them yet, but it was searching. Suddenly it made a strange hissing sound and sprayed something from glands on its neck. The liquid hit a nearby bush, which immediately began to sizzle and dissolve. Acid, Elaine realized. Be careful of the spray, Artemis acknowledged with a subtle shift in her thoughts. They watched as the Deathstalker moved forward, using its front limbs to clear a path through the forest. It was methodical, destroying everything in its way rather than going around obstacles. It relies on power, not stealth, Elaine observed, and it's not used to environments like this. It wants to create open space to fight. Now they had a plan. Elaine sent a quick series of images through their link, a strategy taking shape in both their minds. Artemis would use the environment to their advantage, keeping to cover, forcing the Deathstalker to waste energy clearing paths that led nowhere. Artemis moved first, darting across an open space just at the edge of the Deathstalker's vision. The massive creature turned with surprising speed, slashing at the spot where Artemis had been a second before. But the wolf was already gone, disappearing into the underbrush on the other side. The Deathstalker gave chase, crashing through the forest after the brief glimpse of movement. But Artemis was playing a game she had mastered over years of hunting, appearing just long enough to be seen, then vanishing before the enemy could react. Each time she led the Deathstalker deeper into the densest part of the forest, Through their link, Elaine guided Artemis with perfect precision, telling her exactly when to appear and where to go next. She could see the Deathstalker was getting frustrated, its movements becoming less controlled, more destructive. It's not used to prey it can't catch, Elaine thought. Good. Let's make it angry. The Deathstalker suddenly stopped its pursuit and stood completely still. Its head swiveled slowly, all its eyes focusing in different directions. Then, with a sound like tearing metal, it began to climb one of the larger trees. It's trying to get a better view, Elaine realized. Now, while it's off the ground, Artemis didn't hesitate. She burst from cover and charged directly at the tree where the Deathstalker clung. Before the alien creature could react, Artemis leaped, her powerful legs launching her higher than any normal wolf could jump. Her teeth closed on one of the Deathstalker's lower limbs and she hung on, using her weight to pull downward. The Deathstalker screeched in pain or surprise. It was hard to tell which. It tried to turn to attack Artemis, but its position in the tree made it awkward. As it twisted, the branch it was holding began to crack. "Let go!" Elaine commanded through their link. Artemis released her grip and dropped to the ground just as the branch broke. The Deathstalker came crashing down, landing hard on its side. For a moment, it lay stunned. Artemis circled it warily, looking for an opening. The creature's armor was thick, but Elaine, seeing through Artemis's eyes, spotted gaps at the joints. "There," she guided, "where the plates meet. That's where it's vulnerable." The Deathstalker was regaining its senses. It rolled back onto its 6 legs, shaking itself like a wet dog. Then it focused all its eyes on Artemis and made a sound like rocks grinding together. It's angry now, Elaine thought. Good. Angry means careless. The Deathstalker charged, moving faster than Elaine had expected. Artemis barely dodged the first slash of its blade-like front limb. The second caught her armor, scraping along the special material with a shower of sparks but not penetrating. Through their link, Elaine felt a flash of pain, not from a wound, but from the impact. Artemis recovered quickly, darting between the Deathstalker's legs and emerging on the other side. The massive creature turned, but too slowly. Artemis was already attacking again, this time targeting the back of one knee-like joint. Her teeth found the gap in the armor that Elaine had spotted, and she bit down hard. The Deathstalker screamed, a high, piercing sound that hurt Elaine's ears. It tried to reach Artemis with its back limbs, but couldn't bend enough to get to her. Artemis held on, grinding her teeth deeper into the joint. Suddenly, the Deathstalker reared up on its back legs, lifting Artemis off the ground. Then it slammed back down, trying to crush her beneath its weight. Artemis let go just in time and rolled away, narrowly avoiding being squashed. The Deathstalker turned to face her again, but now it was moving differently. One of its legs wasn't working properly, dragging slightly as it walked. "We've heard it," Elaine observed, "but it's still dangerous. We need to be careful." The Deathstalker seemed to realize it couldn't catch Artemis through speed alone. It backed up until it reached the stream, then planted itself firmly, facing outward with its blade limbs raised defensively. Smart, Elaine thought. It's protecting its back and forcing us to come at it from the front. But Elaine had been hunting with Artemis for too long to fall for such an obvious trap. Through their link, she sent a new plan. Artemis circled the Deathstalker, staying just out of reach of those deadly front limbs. Each time she passed in front of it, she snapped her teeth or feinted a charge, keeping the creature's attention. Meanwhile, Elaine studied its movements carefully. There's a pattern, she realized. It always slashes right, then left, then tries to stab. After the stab, there's a half-second delay before it can attack again. Artemis absorbed this information through their link, adjusting her movements to the rhythm Elaine had noticed. The next time she darted in front of the Deathstalker, she moved a little closer. As expected, it slashed right, then left. Artemis dodged both attacks easily. Then came the stab, which she sidestepped. In that half-second window, Artemis struck. She lunged forward, teeth bared, aiming for the cluster of eyes on the Deathstalker's head. The creature tried to bring its blade limbs around to defend itself, but it was too slow. Artemis's teeth closed on one of the alien's eyes. There was a crunch and a spray of strange blue fluid. The Deathstalker shrieked and reared back, shaking its head wildly, trying to dislodge Artemis. But the wolf held on, her powerful jaws crushing more eyes with each shake. Finally, the Deathstalker managed to throw Artemis off. She landed on her feet a short distance away, blue fluid dripping from her muzzle. The Deathstalker was making a high keening sound. its remaining eyes darting around frantically. It had lost at least half its vision. Now we finish this, Elaine thought. Artemis growled in agreement. The Deathstalker was panicking now, slashing wildly at the air, spraying acid in random directions. Some hit a nearby tree, which began to smoke and dissolve. Artemis waited patiently, watching for her opportunity. It came when the Deathstalker backed up too far and stumbled over a rock by the stream. As it struggled to regain its balance, Artemis charged. This time she went straight for the underside of its body, where the armor was thinnest.